Alright, so let's jump back into some fan games from this year's Sage. We are going to start this off with Sonic the Hedgehog 3000, which is a returning entry. And this game is always getting huge updates, and this one might be the biggest yet. There's more than twice as many stages as there were before it, and even some incomplete ones to serve as previews. So the game had controller support that works right off the jump when you launch the game, and I was playing this from the web browser. So I think that's where this game shines the most. Being able to quickly start this up in your web browser, has built-in controller support. It sounds a bit too good. So I will point out the negatives with this game, and I will say that it feels like the controlling in this game is a bit difficult because of how the game moves with, Sonic moving really fast. He feels like really slippery, and the game just moves a little too quick. And the camera on this game seems to trail a bit far behind Sonic when he's moving. So it's like it's moving slow, and it doesn't really catch up to him. And you can see the difference when you play like vanilla Sonic games. The camera kind of like keeps Sonic stationary in the middle, with the exception of like a few areas in Sonic 2 when the blast processing kicks in and he's like going really fast in the chemical plant zone. But you'll see it a lot here where like you're just moving down slopes and then the camera has to keep up with Sonic. So I will say this is a must-try game simply because of how accessible it is. You don't have to download anything. You simply just go to the website and open it and the game will start running. Next is Sonic 3 Chronicles, which is a fan game that has a different take on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The game opens up right after the scene where Sonic defeats Eggman for the first time, and Knuckles is supposed to break that bridge to send Sonic falling into the Hydrocity Zone. Only this time the button doesn't work, and you can see like Knuckles is getting frustrated, like the button is jammed or something. So Knuckles kind of runs off, and then Sonic chases after him. And then he ends up going to the Endless Mine stage, which I think is one of the playable stages in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 multiplayer mode. So the controls in this game were a bit difficult. It felt like Sonic was very heavy, and I just really wasn't a fan of that. Also, one thing I did not like in this game was the level design. It was mostly made up of steep slopes that would often require you to spin dash, as well as walls just constantly blocking your path, making you stop to look for a switch so you can like remove them and continue. I just felt like it was really breaking the pace of this game, and honestly I don't even think I played it past Endless Mine simply because of that. Like the controls just being really difficult, Sonic being really heavy, and just really bad level design. I lost interest really quickly. So the next few games I didn't think were very interesting, but I did try them and I had the camera rolling anyway, so I will briefly discuss my feelings on these titles. So the first one up is Project After Shadow Theory, and this game opens up with some comic images showing Shadow's past with Maria, as well as the events that happened in Sonic Adventure 2. The game has that Sonic Advance art style, which already just makes me less interested, because usually fan games like that are just hold boost to win, and it's just very uninteresting. So after trying it out, I was definitely not interested in this game at all, because the physics were very unusual, letting you walk up walls with very little momentum. Also, the input delay was so bad and made the jumping just really horrible. So it was so hard just to jump over the most simplest gaps, and I really just didn't spend much time on this game. Next is Sonic Adventure DS Tech Demo 2, and this game didn't get much time for me at all. I was at the beginning of the stage and I was trying to launch off a spring, only to be short of my destination, where I would just fall infinitely in the water because there wasn't a death mesh or something to send me back to the start of the stage or to restart the game. So there wasn't even an option to pause and restart that way either. So I just shut it down and just moved on to the next game. The next game I spent even less time on because I couldn't even get it to start. So this was called Sonic Adventure 2 Green Hill Zone Remastered, and it just wouldn't start. Whether I would hit start on a controller or hit enter on the keyboard, tried pressing a whole bunch of different buttons on the keyboard, and nothing would just start. I couldn't get a response at all. So I don't know what was going on. I just, shut it down and moved on to the next game. And then the last up we have Sonic Horizon, which is another 3D game on the Unity engine, and a controller didn't work, so I had to use a keyboard and mouse. So the mouse look sensitivity was very high, and it just made looking around just very difficult. Just the slightest movement on your mouse would just have Sonic, making a huge turn with his body or something. So the controls also weren't to my liking. I think Sonic games like this are best when you're moving with the WASD keys and you're jumping with the left click on your mouse. But with this game, you jump with the spacebar, and I think that just felt very uncomfortable for me. So, as a result, I was trash while playing this game. I just didn't feel like I did very well, and I didn't get to spend much time on it because I quickly came across an area that required me to go jumping on platforms, and I just wasn't able to do this on a keyboard. So it seemed okay from what I've played, but I just don't enjoy Sonic games on a keyboard, especially when there's a whole bunch of platforming involved. That just makes it so difficult, because it's like something that just seems so simple for me. Like, oh, I would be able to do this easily on a controller. It's the hardest thing in the world when I'm on a keyboard and mouse, So that just frustrates me about some of these 3D Sonic games. So, like I said, I'm going to end with that because I just couldn't find enough enjoyable entries for the Sonic games. And I will make a second attempt sometime this week to try, to find something that I can actually declare my personal favorite fan game for this year's Sage. So, I also want to make a video dedicated to the Mega Man fan games because there are quite a few here this year. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all very soon.